Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference following a two-day meeting of the Military Committee in Chiefs of Defence session. First, as always, we will hear statements from the chairman of the Military Committee, General Petr Pavel, then Supreme Allied Commander General Scaparrotti, and Supreme Allied Commander Transformation General Mercier. General Pavel.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Let me begin this press conference by giving you an outline of the main outcomes of the first Chiefs of Defence meeting in 2018. We have had a packed agenda over the last 2 days, which allowed the Chiefs of Defence to discuss a wide range of topics and tasks ahead of the alliance and to give their direction and guidance. We began at the meeting with the Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. We focused with him on the political and military priorities for this year's summit in July. In our second session, we met with our wide range of partners to address issues of security and stability in Europe's southern neighborhood. This is one of the greatest transnational security challenges that we face and one which impacts every nation around the globe. NATO's network of partners, complemented with international organizations such as the European Union and the United Nations, allows us to work more effectively and in a comprehensive manner. Our goal is to cooperate even more cohesively, sharing our experience and expertise and avoiding duplication of effort, all with the aim of improving stability in the Middle East and North Africa. In this context, the Chiefs of Defence also stressed the role of NATO's hub for the South. Meeting with our resolute support mission partners, we discussed the strategic, operational and political context in and around Afghanistan, as well as our main effort to train, assist and advise the Afghan security forces and institutions. The Chiefs of Defence stressed the enduring commitment to Afghanistan. They also recognized the progress achieved by the Afghan National Defence Security Forces over the course of the last year, in particular the growth of the Afghan Special Security Forces and the Afghan Air Force, improved leadership, and most importantly, the Afghan forces' growing confidence in their ability to fight and win. Another key topic on our agenda was the ongoing NATO command structure adaptation. It is vital that we have a command structure that is robust, agile and fit for purpose. A NATO command structure that supports the alliance's requirement for effective command and control across all the core tasks, which means a continued ability to defend and protect allied territory and populations, whilst also carrying our crisis management and cooperative security. The Chiefs of Defence endorsed the option recommended by the NATO military authorities for the adapted NATO command structure and provided their recommendations on implementation and timeline. I need to stress that the NATO command structure adaptation is subject to a political decision, which will be made during the meeting of defence ministers next month. On the transformation of the global coalition against ISIL and NATO's role in Iraq, we noted how the coalition is transitioning from combat to stabilization. Consequently, we deliberated how NATO could adapt our current activity within our training and capacity building initiative in Iraq, upon request by the Iraqi authorities and taking into consideration the importance of local ownership and buy-in. Today's session began with meetings with Ukraine and Georgia. The Chiefs of Defence noted the challenge for Ukraine of achieving security and defence reforms alongside re-establishing Ukraine's territorial integrity. They also recognized the progress made in the Ukrainian armed forces reform and stressed their commitment to furthering the capability and interoperability of the Ukrainian armed forces. During our session with Georgia, Chiefs of Defence recognized Georgia's significant and enduring contribution to NATO's operations and missions, and especially to resolute support in Afghanistan. Furthermore, they stressed their continued support to the substantial NATO-Georgia package and welcomed Georgia's constructive approach to the ongoing security situation. And finally, we turned our focus to the military aspects of NATO's overall coherence related to the alliance's strengthened deterrence and defense posture. The Chiefs of Defence stressed the necessity to ensure effective and coherent implementation of decisions taken at Wales and Warsaw summits, as well as the heads of state and government meeting last May here in Brussels, together with 2018 priorities in support of all three core tasks and in a 360 degrees approach. With that said, I will now hand the floor to SACEUR General Scaparrotti and subsequently to General Denis Mercier. So, Mike, over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today concerning key priorities regarding the NATO command structure for Allied command operations. I'd like to thank the Chiefs of Defence for their attendance today. Getting together in this type of setting is always beneficial. I want to express my gratitude for the contributions from across the Alliance to NATO operations and to the defense of Europe. They are significant and appreciated. I particularly appreciate how difficult it is for the nations to meet all the requirements and provide all the forces we would like in ACO. Today's strategic context is different than when we made the last NCS change. A resurgence of Russia as a strategic competitor, growing unrest and instability in Africa and the Middle East, as well as terrorism, is reshaping our strategic environment. This security environment is compounded by the rapid growth and proliferation of new technologies that can be acquired by both state and non-state actors. This underscores the need to adapt to today's evolving threats. Our ability to respond requires different approaches and different capabilities. At NATO, and especially in ACO, national, bilateral, and collective alliance efforts must be integrated and mutually reinforcing. This is fundamental to success because strategic unity keeps us strong. And NATO nations are adapting and responding, nationally and multilaterally and collectively. Just consider operations and activities like enhanced forward presence, tailored forward presence, a very high readiness joint task force, Baltic air policing, enhanced air policing, or our maritime operations that are ongoing, just to name a few. Looking forward, we must maintain a strategic long-term view coupled with a sense of resilience. Efficiency and effectiveness in design and implementation is a priority to propose an organization that's flexible, resilient, and can react at the speed of relevance. NATO is charged to be ready and responsive. We must continue to set the conditions and invest now to ensure European security in the future. I think the need for this is critical to our future success. And with that, I'll hand it over to Denis.
Thank you, Mike, and good afternoon. The evolution of our strategic environment is one of the main drivers for our military committee sessions to ensure that our NATO's military capacity remains fit for purpose now in the foreseeable future. And indeed, as SACEUR just stated, the strategic assumptions have changed, which led to the adaptation we are conducted. But this is something we are sure of. They will keep being challenged in the future. And during these two-day meetings of the MCCS, we all agreed that in this environment, NATO must adapt fast enough to ensure our continued relevance. Whether inside or inside the defense community, the organizations that thrive in a complex and rapidly changing environment are those that acknowledge the necessity to simultaneously operate and adapt. We cannot afford to address our deficiencies without setting our sight to the longer term. And this is what my mission is about, to focus Allied command transformation on what we call warfare development in order to ensure that SACEUR has the military capacity and posture it needs to face any future challenges. Because to win tomorrow's war, we have to prepare today, and this was what was behind the reorganization of Allied command transformation and the whole NATO command structure. Thank you.